This is the Alcohol-Free Lifestyle Podcast, where you learn to live a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness. Welcome to the show. I'm James Swanwick. As we walk here to the gym on a Thursday morning, it's 7:26 a.m. and I have just begun my 30-minute stroll to go to the gym, where I do a morning workout from 8 a.m. each morning. Today I'd like to invite those listeners who are on the fence about stopping drinking, specifically with our services. When I say our services, Alcohol-Free Lifestyle. So if you're not interested in that, you can skip this episode if you like and listen to many of the other trainings and the other thoughts and musings of myself and some of our amazing AFL coaches here. But if you are someone who is a business owner, or you're an executive, you're over the age of 40, and you deep down know that you must stop drinking long term because it's causing too much pain in your life, but you feel tremendous fear if you can actually accomplish this, and then the fear of the unknown, like who will you actually turn into and become if you're not drinking, because you may have been drinking your entire adult life. People might associate you with fine wine or being a drinking larrikin or socializing or networking, and so the idea of stopping drinking just seems too overwhelming a concept. If that's you, I get it, and this episode is for you. As I'm recording this, it's now, Thursday, November 21st, 2024. If my math is correct, there's about 40 days left of the year of 2024. So if you're listening to this within, say, 48 hours of me recording this, I want to invite you, if you are indeed a business owner, an executive, high performer who is willing and ready to stop drinking with professional support, I invite you to attend a Q&A that I am hosting this coming Saturday, this Saturday being the 23rd. There'll be some details on my Instagram account. There'll be some details that we'll be texting and emailing you. If that's not you, or that date is already passed, then, like I said, you're welcome to skip forward from this episode. But I wanted to send this timely episode, or this time-sensitive episode, I should say, to really present a wake-up call to you. And I hope it's not a beating you with the stick wake-up call. Rather, I hope that you receive it as an inspiring wake-up call to action. I recall December 2018, almost 6 years ago, and I was on the phone with a prospective client by the name of John Keltner. And he won't mind me using his name because he's been featured in many case studies and testimonials and been featured on this podcast over the years. And John lives up in mid to North California. He was drinking, if I recall correctly, he was at least 40 pounds overweight, and he was drinking vodka and was drifting and was unhealthy by his own admission. He wasn't present with his son, who I think was just a young teenager at the time. And he called us at Alcohol-Free Lifestyle and inquiring about support. Now I remember at the time I was all the way back in Brisbane, Australia, visiting my mother, and I was actually staying at my mother's house. I recall this conversation vividly because I was talking to him on a Zoom conversation, and my computer was in the cupboard of my mother's spare room in the suburb of Hamilton in Brisbane, Australia, and I was standing up speaking with him. And so if you can imagine me standing up facing into a cupboard, and my laptop computer was kind of sitting on one of the cupboard shelves as I'm talking to this man I'd never met before over in California, talking to him about his drinking habits, and he was telling me the pain that he was experiencing. Now, December of 2018, December is a time when there's holidays, vacations. People in America call it the holidays, right? There's parties, there's end of year gatherings. People tend to let loose any kind of health goals. They say, oh, I'll deal with it in January. I'll put it back on January 1st. And so it took some bravery, I would submit, for John Keltner to get on the call at that time and explore getting help quitting drinking. And at the end of the call, after I'd walked through our services and how we could help him and support him, he said, well, I just, I have to think about this. I don't make decisions on the spot like this. And I said to him, well, how's that been working out for you? Living life this way, thinking about it, procrastinating. And by his own words, he said, oh, James, you got me. And he enrolled. Not before there was some other objections, like, this is the holidays, I can't stop now, it's December. I've got all these invitations to go to, all these parties to go to, there's going to be alcohol around, it's going to be too challenging to stop. I'll just wait until January to do it. And I invited him to just jump right in. I said, December is the perfect time to stop. Imagine going through the holidays, being alcohol free and sleeping great, having energy and clarity and focus, having a supportive network around you of coaches and fellow clients. And to his credit, John Keltner from California said, enroll me. And we did. We got him signed up. We started him with our world-class coaching program. He attended Zoom calls. He met other clients. And at that time, I was solely the only coach doing our coaching. So he met with me on Zoom calls with other clients. And I helped him to reposition alcohol in his life, from glorifying it, kneeling down and glorifying this attractively packaged poison that we call alcohol, to loving being alcohol free. Now, when I say loving alcohol free, I mean not sucking it up and clenching his teeth and white knuckling it, thinking and feeling, oh, I wish I could drink alcohol, but I can't because I've just invested money into this stop drinking program. But rather, wow, I never knew life could feel this good from choosing to live an alcohol-free lifestyle. That's the feeling that John created for himself. Now, fast forward to today, as I'm recording this, November 2024, John Keltner is still alcohol-free and still loving his life. In fact, he shared a wedding photo, him and his new wife, only about 8 weeks ago. We still stay in contact via text message. He sent me a lovely photo of he and his wife. His son is now, gosh, he must be 17 or 18. And he says that he has a wonderful present relationship with his son. They're connected. I've invited John to come on and speak to some of our new clients over the years. He came on the Thanksgiving call 2023 and shared his journey, and really inspired a lot of our clients who were, probably in like week 2 or week 3 of their alcohol-free journey. And John lost those 40 pounds of unwanted body weight. He actually had to buy new glasses because he lost so much weight around his face. So his glasses, which fit over his nose and around the side of his face, were no longer appropriate because his face became chiseled like a James Bond-esque character. He went from being very puffy looking in the face, double chin, wide face, to lean, mean and chiseled. If you'd like to see the video that he did after 1 year alcohol free, so this video is now, 5 years old, but if you'd like to see him describing his journey after just 1 year alcohol free, then you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/John. So I say that because a lot of folks who are considering engaging us and our services are worried that this isn't going to stick. They tell us that they've done 30 days alcohol-free before, they've done 60 days, they've even done 90 days. And so why would they then spend considerable money to get our professional support if they've already done 90 days alcohol-free? And the answer is because when you do our 90-day stop drinking program, which is known as Project 90, it cements a long-term lifestyle. It creates a lifestyle. Now, notice the word lifestyle. I very strategically chose the name of the company to be Alcohol-Free Lifestyle. Not alcohol-free, not Project 90, but the name of the organization is Alcohol-Free Lifestyle, because a lifestyle is what this is. You are choosing a style of life. You are choosing a style of doing life without consuming this attractively packaged poison, and doing it with a smile on your face while being engaging with friends and family who are still drinking, and you feeling joy in your life. The challenge that people have when they have successfully completed 30 days, 60 days, 90 days on their own is that often they feel like they're in a prison. They're just trying to get through to day 30. They're just trying to get through to day 60 or day 90. They're holding on, and they're gritting their teeth and they're white knuckling it. And of course that experience, such as if you do a dry January, which of course is coming up, or you do a 75 hard, which is another program out there. All of these things, of course, imply that doing this is hard. And it also implies that there's an end date. There's an end date to this. So once you've done this 30-day challenge, what will you do on day 30? Well, the likelihood is that you'll drink to celebrate, and you'll give yourself a pat on the back and go, wow, I did 30 days alcohol-free. Time to reward myself. Because when you're doing one of these 30-day challenges without expert coaching, without an effective rewiring of the mindset, it can feel like you're in a prison. The prison of not being able to drink, because you associate drinking with fun and pleasure, and you associate not drinking with pain and feeling like you're in a prison. The question I ask you is, what do all prisoners desire? That is, to get out of prison. So when you feel like you're in a prison from doing a 30-day stop drinking program, 60 days and 90 days without appropriate coaching, accountability, community, the challenge is that you get to day 30, 60, 90, and now you want to break out of prison by what? Pouring yourself a drink. And then ultimately returning to the same consumption of alcohol that had you beginning that challenge in the first place. Now, the difference with Project 90, the name of the program we have here at Alcohol-Free Lifestyle, from those challenges is that all along the journey from day 1 to day 90, we are having our clients think long-term, think lifestyle, think family, think generational impact on their kids, on their husband, on their wife, in their business, in their community. And we're doing everything that we possibly can to have our clients go through those 90 days and seeing it and experiencing it and feeling it as fun. Now, to be clear, it's not always fun, as many of our clients have shared with us. Not always. There are times when people feeling like this pressure, this tense, and their body's adjusting because suddenly their bodies are now screaming out for alcohol often in the first couple of weeks because it's being deprived of the very thing it's been used to for, in many cases, decades. So there is a period of adjustment there where it can feel a little challenging. It can feel a little shaky. But there's almost always this breakthrough moment. And for some clients it happens on the first call on day 1. For other people it takes till day 73. There's this breakthrough where suddenly the penny drops and they just get it. They've now got consistent good sleep. They're now less reactive. They're now becoming responsive. People start to comment on how they look. They say, wow, have you lost weight? Wow, have you been working out? Because their skin starts to return to its natural state, which is in many cases glowing, as opposed to when you're drinking, the alcohol dehydrates the skin, which is our body's largest organ, which can give our skin the appearance of being weathered, dry, flaky in some cases. Husbands and wives of our clients start to share with them, wow, I've really noticed a change in you. Wow, I'm really enjoying being in your presence. Wow, you really listen to me. Our clients start to make little habit changes. If they've been resisting joining a gym, some people join a gym. If they've been resisting signing up for piano lessons, guitar lessons, or booking an overseas trip that they've been procrastinating on for many years, we've seen clients during these 90 days start to take those actions, start to form new habits. It's beautiful to watch because you see folks come in on day one very nervous, unsure, timid, wondering what the heck they just got into, doubting themselves. Clients have shared with us that on their day one, and even before their day one, even just in the minutes before they decided to enroll with us, they were filled with self-doubt. If I pay for this program and I join and it doesn't work and I drink, wow, then I'll really be broken, is some of the thoughts that clients have shared with us. And I get it. If you've had cultural conditioning your entire adult life that alcohol is normal, that the quantity of alcohol you consume is just standard, even though you're drinking a bottle of wine at least a night, a six-pack, 3 or 4 vodkas. If you're isolated and alone and you're drinking for comfort, then the idea of suddenly stopping that may have you feel even more alone, even more isolated. It's like the alcohol becomes this blanket of comfort for you because it's so familiar. And even though you know it's a terrible friend who keeps sucking your energy, even though you know that alcohol is toxic, the familiarity of that toxic relationship is so strong that you stay with it. And so the idea of then handing over money to some Australian guy that you saw on a Facebook ad 2 days earlier becomes incredibly overwhelming, and fear comes through you. And our most successful clients tell us that was the feeling they had right before it started to feel really, really good. When they got in on their first call and they saw 20, 30, sometimes 40 other members on that Zoom call who speak the same way as they do, who have the same challenges, who give them support. Suddenly they feel like they've found their community, where once they were isolated and alone and lost and confused, now they felt at home in a group of like-minded people. Our community is filled with entrepreneurs, executives, doctors, dentists, real estate agents, sales managers, executives of Fortune 500 companies, folks mostly in their 50s. We have a gentleman who's in his early 70s with us at the moment. He retired in his early 50s. He's been retired for 20 years. If you think that retirement means that your life is going to be amazing and beautiful, think again. This gentleman had incredible financial success, retired in his early 50s, and then found himself drinking because of the isolation, because of a lack of purpose. He didn't have the purpose of running this business day to day anymore. So he found comfort in alcohol. Good for him, he enrolled in our program 95 days ago, stopped drinking alcohol, His wife of 30-something years is now saying, wow, you're so much present, I love it. They're feeling more engaged, he shared with us. And now he's talking about going and supporting a young person in his former profession, just as his way of giving back to inspire some purpose, rather than just sitting around the house all day in his retirement, waiting for the clock to hit 5 o'clock when he can justify opening another bottle of wine, pouring himself another vodka. So I want to invite you, if you're listening to this now, if you're still here and you haven't skipped to the other episode, and you're a business owner, you're an executive, you're there over the age of 40, and you know that you want to stop drinking, and you know that you are ready, and you know that you need to, and you're now unwilling to keep trying doing it on your own, or doing a fun little challenge, or watching YouTube videos, or listening to podcast episodes ad nauseum like you are now with me, and now actually invest in getting professional coaching from specialists educated at Stanford University, Cambridge University, Harvard University, and get around and in a group of other business owners and executives who are going through the same challenges as you are, a like-minded group. Then I invite you to do one of two things. Number one is go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. The link actually is in the description of this episode. And when you click on that link, it will take you to a page where there's a 35-minute video that I put together. It's not high production quality, candidly, but it just shares my story somewhat about how I stopped drinking and the story of Alcohol-Free Lifestyle, of how we help our clients to stop drinking using neuroscience. So it'll walk through our process, because you might be listening to me now going, okay, well, this all sounds good, James, but how are you different than an AA meeting? How is this going to be more effective than my own attempts? How is this going to be more effective than, God forbid, going to rehab? I outline that process there at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. Now, underneath that video, you'll see a questionnaire or an application form. And in that application form, it'll probably take you a good 7 minutes, because there's probably good 16 questions. This is not something that you want to rush through. You probably want to create a good 10-minute block for you on a desktop computer where it might be easier for you. Click on that type form, put in your name and your details. It's going to ask you questions about your drinking habits. It's going to ask you what you've tried before. It's going to ask you, candidly, what you do for a profession. Now, we ask you that. And we're also going to ask you your income. People are always saying to me, why are you asking questions about my income? What's that got to do with anything? Well, I'll tell you. For this particular program, which is called Project 90, again, we curate a particular type of clientele, a community of like-minded people, and the like-mindedness comes from the community of business owners, executives, realtors, salespeople. So we're asking you that question so we can be sure that you will fit the client culture. What we don't want is folks who are not that culture in this particular program, because it tends to disrupt the culture, which makes it less effective to get the breakthrough of stopping drinking. For example, if we have a 19-year-old meth addict who's holding up gas stations, listen to this episode and then apply, and we accept that person and then they come in. Of course we want to help that person. Of course we do. But that person will be so fundamentally disruptive to the community because they do not fit the culture. That person will stick out like a sore thumb. And I would submit, if you're listening, if you're a business owner, you're an executive, you're a high performer, I would suggest that you don't desire to be in a conversation with someone who's 2 or 3 decades younger than you, has a completely different experience of life, does not face the same challenges as you do with family and children, business, finance, performance. So that's why we ask you that, just to curate the right audience, just to curate the right client. Now, once you submit that form, it will then ask you to choose a time for us to phone you and have an introductory exploratory conversation. And that exploratory conversation traditionally takes 20 minutes. There is nothing to buy or enroll in on that particular call. The first step is just an exploratory conversation. So you'll choose the day, you'll choose the time. One of my team, it won't be me, but one of my team, who I have worked with for at least 6 months, in many cases 2 years, or sorry, in 2 cases 2 years, I should say. One of my team will phone you and we'll just have an exploratory conversation just to ascertain, are you a right cultural fit? Do you really want to stop long term? And we're going to be grilling you to make sure that you really do desire to live an alcohol-free lifestyle. If you'll say, oh, I'm not sure, I'm kind of thinking about stopping drinking, we'll just very politely end the call. We'll send you some free resources to support you, and we'll wish you all the best. We're not here to convince applicants to stop drinking. You must have already convinced yourself that it's time, you're ready, it's time to burn the ships. And the only question that you're asking us is, are we the folks to help you accomplish that? Or will you go to AA, or will you continue doing white knuckling it and willpower? So again, I invite you not to book that call if you feel you need convincing to stop drinking alcohol. But if you are convinced already that you need to stop, you have to stop, you want to stop, and even despite the fact that Thanksgiving is next week in the US, and there's going to be family occasions and social occasions, and even the fact that you've got the end of year business events where there's going to be alcohol flowing, and even knowing that you'll be surrounded by alcohol, you are still willing to take that leap of trust and stop drinking in November, to begin the process in November with us, then I invite you to go to that link, fill out that form, and have a conversation with us. Now, I referenced earlier I'll be doing this Q&A on Saturday. So if you're listening to this before Saturday morning, then again, you might like to go to my @James Swanwick Instagram page and just have a look there for details of where you can access a live Q&A that I am doing. I'll be doing a live Q&A on a Zoom call on Saturday. This is specifically for the type of member that we accept, that being business owners, executives, salespeople, entrepreneurs, high performers, folks who are ready to stop drinking, but they're still just a little timid, they're unsure whether I am who I say I am, that we can actually support. Like I referenced in the beginning of this episode, if that's not you, I just invite you not to attend that call. Having said that, I have 98% of my content is free and plastered all over the internet. And so I would invite you to digest some of our free resources. You can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com and you can find a whole bunch of free resources there, including a 75-page guide, which walks you through our process. Of course, you can continue to listen and digest these episodes here on the podcast. You can go to our YouTube channel at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/YouTube, where there's training videos. If you type in my name into Google, James Swanwick and alcohol, you'll find dozens of newspaper articles and magazine articles in which I outline the same process that I walk our clients through. In other words, if you're not the demographic that I outlined, there is still plenty of free resources out there on the internet to help you do it yourself. But just for the remainder of November, and specifically for Project 90, again, if you are that demographic, you're over the age of 40, your drinking's causing problems, you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, you've identified that you need professional support, you're unwilling to do it alone, you desire to be in a like-minded community of other successful people who just haven't been able to get power over their drinking habits yet, then speak with us and do it now. My invitation is to not wait until January. Not wait until the problems get too much. Not even wait until after Thanksgiving. Imagine enrolling with us before Thanksgiving, before you go back to your family and all those triggering situations, and being alcohol free and learning how to love being alcohol free and enjoy it, even with the interrogation of friends and family saying, why aren't you drinking? Go on, just have one. We're going to teach you how to navigate that. We're going to teach you how to have the best Thanksgiving that you can have, the best holiday period. Lose weight, feel better, save your marriage, reconnect with your children. If that's you, then I invite you to click the link in the description, go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90, look for details of that live Q&A on Saturday over at my Instagram, or check the emails that I'll send out inviting folks. You may have listened to, or you may have read at my daily newsletter. If you go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide, you can sign up for that newsletter. Thanks so much for spending time with me here today. I acknowledge you for wanting to make a change, and we'll speak soon. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to learn more about our stop drinking services, you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com. You can follow me on Instagram at James Swanwick. Our YouTube channel is at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/YouTube, or you can send me an email at james@alcoholfreelifestyle.com.